to talk about is Mars's transit in 2024. It's 2024 right now, mid-October, as I said earlier, and Mars is in a growing opposition with Pluto in Capricorn. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So Mars feels very strong in Capricorn. But now Mars is in fall, where there's almost this natural kind of really concern about defeat, about feeling powerless, about feeling not strong enough. And we see Pluto, who is very strong, bringing up this underbelly. Pluto is currently hovering at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which is really powerful because it is the degree of mastery. It is where the planet has gone through this whole house starting in 2008. And here in the United States, we saw a lot of changes in 2008 and political things that happened that were unprecedented. And it sort of has set the tone for the journey we have had as Pluto ends its sojourn through Capricorn and is now tasked to master its fears, its trepidations, where there has been power and control. The 10th house of Capricorn naturally rules government. It rules structures that are outside of our personal structure, but dictate our personal lives. It's authority. It is our public image and our status. And Pluto has been bringing up this psychological underbelly where power and control has been used out of balance. Now, Mars, who is actually, now this is an interesting thing because Mars and Pluto both rule Scorpio. So there is a psychological awareness in both of these planets. And Mars can use that psychological awareness for warfare, to actually use your fears, your trepidations, your concerns, your holes, your nooks and your crannies against you. And now there's this push pull, this opposition that will not happen again for 248 years. And I think this is very, very significant because while Pluto and Mars will make oppositions again, they will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years and then move on from there. So what we're doing is we're really having an opportunity to look as a result of outside influences, which I think in this particular opposition, I think Pluto is the stronger planet because Pluto is in a sign that's not necessarily emotional. Pluto itself, while it has a heart and, on the face of the planet, Pluto rules billionaires and power and control. And it's really a balance because you can use your power for the light or you can use your power to manipulate others. And in this particular case with Mars's opposition and Mars feeling so disempowered in Cancer, there's a frustration. There is a lack of feeling like I'm powerful in my own life, to be powerful over my home, for my home to thrive, for my family to thrive. And this is a direct result as of whatever authority, government, structures, even, the sign of Capricorn can rule big corporations, like big banking corporations or big, I think of Cisco and I think of, Amazon and I think of just these big, huge corporations. So what we're going to see as Mars and Pluto become more intense is when we get to the 29th degree, where Mars is tasked to master the emotional nature of Cancer, and Pluto is tasked to master where authority and government has repressed and limited and oppressed and, created a dynamic where people cannot build. This is going to become very, very stressful for people. It's a transit that's going to bring unconscious anger. It's a transit that's going to bring old fears that you haven't looked at in a while. And all of a sudden these fears are now, front and center. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I was done with that. I thought I had built myself a sense of security. I thought I had when I think of Mars's energy, Mars is a very big hero energy. And when I look at it in Cancer, this is patriots. This is people who fight for their country. This is our heroes, our veterans. And so there could very well be things that of a nature where the hero energy is being challenged by the structure. And the Mars energy is being tasked in Cancer to really be aware of an emotional nature so that it can make a choice and use the higher vibrations. You know, the thing about Mars is that I always think Mars is the best warrior when Mars has an emotional IQ, because truly that's where you can be the most, you know, masterful and manipulative and get people to do what you want them to do. And you can call it bad or you can call it good. But when you're fighting with someone, if you know where their weaknesses are, you have an advantage. And usually the weakness is an emotional fear. So this is where Mars can actually be much more emotionally aware, not only of his own fears and trepidations, but of those around him. And therefore being a more strategic and more effectual hero or warrior, depending on what's necessary in your particular situation. One other thing that can happen in this particular opposition is that history can repeat itself, meaning in your personal life, you could find that some things that you thought were long done, you know, long over with, are coming back up. And it might even feel sort of random. It might feel as if it might feel even a little bit unfair, to be honest with you. But at the same time, there could be just a little bit of an opportunity to see where we still tend to make decisions based on old imprints or old emotional triggers. That's a better way to put it. This Pluto Mars opposition can bring up a historic trigger to be reworked, revisited, to be looked at from a way, a more intuitive, emotional way. And when I think of intuition, I think of it as allowing me an opportunity to see how it's serving me versus tanking me or pulling me under. So for about 2 or 3 weeks, the end of October, all the way through the United States presidential election until mid-November, we're going to feel this influence. So as I always like to say, forewarned is forearmed. And in this way, it's about being armed emotionally, being aware of your own triggers, your own resentments, your own angers, where you feel repressed, where you feel other people have dominion over you, they dominate you in some way, and then allowing yourself to use the constructive sides of the planet to take your power back. And then Mars will move into Leo, and it will feel a lot better when it moves into Leo. And then in about 2 years, we'll experience a Mars Pluto opposition with them in Leo and Aquarius. And we'll talk about that later. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, please share, whatever, follow. I'm not sure what platform you're watching me on, but thank you so much. And come back for more content. See you soon.